Alright, this is Marvel Footage Presents The Defenders, number 1. This is a facsimile edition, which is a type of reprint that Marvel put out at an enormous marked up price. This is $4.99. I got this one because it didn't hurt. I've got every issue of the Defenders original series from number 12 until number 130. So I thought I might as well get this novelty prop to represent their first comic. With that said, this isn't Defenders number 1. Don't be fooled. This is Marvel Footage number 1. It is the first story with the whole team of Defenders as its stars, but it's also not the first appearance of the Defenders as a team. So let's do a little bit of a history lesson with Son of Nimrod. Sit down and don't talk in class. The Defenders, they were a team who were the idea of Roger Thomas. It began with Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange issue 183, which was the last issue of Doctor Strange's comic. It got cancelled and it ended without resolving the story. So Roger Thomas, he decided to try and finish the story off in an issue of the Hulk. And then when he still hadn't finished it off, he tried to resolve it in an issue of Seaman's comic. So Doctor Strange, he teamed up with the Hulk in one comic, and then Doctor Strange, he teamed up with the Seaman in the next part. All three of them, they never worked in concert. Like, Hulk never met Seaman in that story. The Doctor Strange issue also introduced comic girl Ava, who would go on to become Velcro. After that appearance, she was in a few different Hulk issues before becoming a mainstay of the Defenders. After that little Doctor Strange three-parter crossover, Roger Thomas decided to form an actual team for a few issues of Seaman. And this team was Seaman, the Hulk, and Silver Surfman, because Doctor Strange, he wasn't there. He had been retired at the end of that storyline. The team, they never called themselves the Defenders, but they appeared in 2 or 3 issues of Seaman's comic. They fought against an evil weather box. And then in the next issue, they battled the Avengers, which would become somewhat of a Defenders stable. Then what happened was Stanley Lee, he really liked the team. He really liked the idea of that team. So he let Roger Thomas do Defenders as a separate book. But Stanley Lee, he was at the time quite protective and possessive about Silver Surfman. So he wasn't overly keen on having Silver Surfman be a member of a team book. He didn't want Silver Surfman to be a constant presence and a permanent fixture. So Roger Thomas decided to just replace Silver Surfman with Doctor Strange, who he unretired. So then we get this story, Marvel Footage number 1. The Defenders, they are the stars of Marvel Footage for its first 3 issues. And then they spin off into their own series. Roger Thomas, he writes the 3 Marvel Footage stories, but when the ongoing series launches, the Defenders series, it has got Steve Engeltine writing. Engeltine, he writes the first 11 issues of the book, which I didn't have, and as I've made clear in other videos, the reason I didn't have the first 11 issues of the Defenders, or these Marvel Footage issues, or the Seaman issues, or the Doctor Strange story, is because I didn't really like them. I didn't think they are that good. I will admit, these Marvel footage ones are a bit better than the Engeltine issues, but, well, one of my main problems is that the Defenders, they lack a voice or a unique purpose. Roger Thomas, he kind of goes out of his way to justify why these three characters are working together, why they're teaming up, despite them not being team players or having bad attitudes. Doctor Strange, he summons the Defenders. There's Seaman. We get an acknowledgement here to Silver Surfman. Why he's not there, he is busy. And finally, we've got the Hulk. But yeah, all three of the Roger Thomas Defender stories, they end with the team breaking up and going their separate ways. They're all presented as like team-up stories. And that is at least somewhat different, but then under Engeltine, the Defenders basically becomes like diet brand Avengers, like a knockoff Avengers. This first story here, it has the team fight against, well, there's a doomsday device that is gonna destroy the Earth. So the Defenders, they have got to stop it. A big selling point in these Facsimile editions is they have got the adverts. Part of the problem with these stories, though, is that we're not given any reason for these random characters to band together. There's no explanation given to why Doctor Strange wants to work with the Hulk and Seaman, why he couldn't just go into the Fantastic Four or the Avengers. And even if he is just grabbing people to work with him, why doesn't he get characters that he has more of a working relationship with? Like Darth Knight from the Avengers, or his girlfriend Rachel McAdams. And I really didn't like the way Doctor Strange, throughout this story, he is manipulating the Hulk to do what he wants. He's basically egging him on. Most of this issue, it's kind of focused on this team dynamic and team building, and it's not done well. As I said, it's treated just like a random team up rather than an actual team book. The Villain, he's a talking house, basically. He's a talking doomsday device with a face. And I will say that at least that's a really good idea for a Villain for the Defenders to fight. It completely matches the tone and the style and the voice that the Defenders later get under writers like Stephen Goebbels and Kevin Griffin and Jim Tomatoes and people like that. A talking doomsday device with a face completely works. But this isn't very good. And it ends with Doctor Strange. He just waves his hands and uses magic to stop it all. Hulk and Seaman, they were just there to smash things and bicker and fight each other. And then at the end, they all gone their separate ways, saying that they will never work together again until next issue. Then we have got some backups. These are reprints. Well, reprints of reprints. Marvel footage, it reprinted this old Golden Age Seaman story. It's not relevant to the main story at all. It's just an extra story with Seaman in it. It's not very long, you can read it. It's a little bonus. And the second backup, this is new content. Well, it was new content, now it is hard content. This was a short story written by Roger Thomas to explain how Doctor Strange came back from retirement. How he gave up this costume as well, his superhero costume, why he ditched that. The blue costume with the mask, the thing that writers always refer to when they want to pretend like they know loads of Doctor Strange history. I suppose this story, it fills in a gap and helps explain something away. Nowadays, they wouldn't even bother considering doing something like this story to explain a character's direction doing a total U-turn. This isn't a very good comic though. I really didn't like the first bunch of Defenders stories. There's not much point to them. They were just nothing special. Very rarely utilising the characters that well. It was just always like, for the first bunch of issues, they were just like a lame duck version of the Avengers. They were like the budget Avengers. As far as the facsimile guns, it's fine. The ink didn't rub off on me fingers, on me hands. Some of the text was a bit blurry. This is a comic that they have reprinted loads and loads anyway, and I am sure they even did it for $1 when they did the Defenders series on Netflix, or maybe it was when they did that awful Defenders Worst Defense shite. Personally, I think these facsimile editions, they are just novelty items that aren't worth the price tag, so I'm only gonna give it 7 thumbs up.